Hi everyone, I'm so excited to have Inga here with me today to discuss all things winter wellness and essential oils. So thank you for your time today, Inga, and I'm really excited to dive into this to help more families discover natural health this coming winter. Can you first introduce yourself, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Inga. I'm a counsellor. I work in the generational and early childhood trauma space, as well as working in childhood or early education, meditation teacher, and I have four daughters, and the youngest is 11, the eldest is 24 this year. And yes, that is me.
That is you in a nutshell. So today, it brings me so much joy, and we were just having a talk about this before we jumped on, but it's it's about educating people who we once were. So we were
Mhm.
once in a situation where I personally didn't feel like I had an alternative or a choice on how to break our family's sick cycle. And I think that sort of a stereotype that comes with using essential oils or using doTERRA is that you have to pick a team or you have to pick a side.
Mhm.
And we were just saying how that's something that we're both working hard to break, that stereotype, because it's actually the real empowerment comes from knowing that you have a choice.
Mhm.
So can you tell me a little bit about, tell everyone a little bit about what that looks like for you and what that looked like in the beginning for you?
So yeah, I think once I started to become more aware across the board on what was wellness and what was more so taking away from our wellness, I really just freaked out. like and and
Same.
really went like crazy in like changing everything. And that wasn't good for anyone in the house because it was overwhelming and it wasn't necessary. And yeah, I'd really like to help people if they are coming into this space to know that you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to have a complete nervous breakdown to bring
Well,
wellness in. um, and yeah, we can do it step by step and gently, and be less overwhelming for you and the people around you.
yeah, exactly. I love that. Because, the whole nervous breakdown is a bit counterproductive to
Yeah.
the wellness journey.
Yeah.
I agree. And so for me, like the way that I approached it was, I was in complete opposition. I was the biggest skeptic ever. But I was at this crossroads where I actually had no other choice, with how sick our son was. And, it was middle of the night. I had no other choice, had run out of all the other over the counter options. And I kind of did it in protest, like, fine, I'll use these crazy things and I'll show you they don't work. And, I ate my hat that night.
Mm.
So the reality is what our intention for, today and every day is to help everyday people feel welcome, feel seen, feel safe, to explore something different in their own home, especially coming into winter and that season of, sometimes the longest nights on earth when our
Mm.
little ones are just copying it,
Yeah.
and feel helpless. So we're going to take you through some slides today, and we're going to try and keep it short and sweet so you can watch this, rewatch this on a needs basis, so you can begin to feel supported on your own journey. So this is how you can contact us after this class. If you want to reach out, you can contact us at bewholesome.au or Inga Dennett Consulting. So let's explore. These are the realities that aren't often spoken about, the hidden costs of reactive healthcare. So time off work is the number one thing that was hurting our family and our budget, other than our children being constantly unwell and in hospital. the medical and pharmacy costs were out of this world, and the emotional strain for me and Clint was probably, yeah, it was debilitating. So, did you want to just take us through what that can look like in terms of the impact on a family, Inga, from a counsellor perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, there is this real felt, what do I do? Like, I have to go to work and earn this money, but I also need to look after my child, and yeah, it can really uh, add overwhelm to us, especially as mothers, where sometimes that really does fall, where we're the ones staying home and trying to balance it all. Yeah, with the emotions and the overwhelm and the worry and then the guilt and all these things that come into play. And also just I've been in this essential oils world for quite a while now, where bulk billing was still readily available, but that's just becoming less and less. So I can't imagine
Mhm.
how that might look for some people these days, in really having to decide, well, do I do this or do I pay rent, or, so just, yeah, it's a lot um, that sits behind the being prepared for these kinds of seasonal
Yeah,
things.
that's exactly right. And I think one of the things that I never had time to reflect personally on the costs and on the hidden costs, because I was in survival mode. So, having time off work at that point, I was running my own preschool. So I was shutting a whole preschool down, family daycare. I was losing a lot of money over and over, which then puts strain on your financial situation in general, your relationship. You can drop very quickly into who's more tired. Are you
Yeah.
more tired than me? Are you more tired than me? Like, I work harder than you. So there's that
I was
real,
up all night.
I
Yeah.
was up all night with the temperatures and you weren't, and you got sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is what we're talking about. And that leads into the emotional strain, which causes cracks in lots of different areas of life from that disruption. So, what we aim to do by gently offering another alternative is not to say you're doing it all wrong. You're wrong, we're right, you should change everything. It's saying we see you and we were you, and we know a way that can bring some peace back into your daily life. So,
Mhm.
I've spoken a little bit about I've touched a little bit on my story, but how were you led to natural alternatives in the first place, Inga? And how have winters changed for you? Just a brief, how have winters changed?
Winter's change. So yeah, just being more, I guess, prepared in the home with uh, tools that we can utilize as the seasons change. Just becoming more mindful and connected to seasons and nature, and through myself, and just noticing the different temperatures before, and yeah, how everything's changing. I think essential oils has helped me become more aware of that as well, so that then I can start preparing our home, ordering what I need to, what I might have been run out of, so that we do have these things available for us. Yeah, just utilizing these kinds of oils specific to this season, where lots does come about, especially if you're in that early childhood space,
Mm.
and you can be prepared versus reactive.
Yeah, definitely. And for us, it gave us freedom, body, mind, and soul, which seems so vague and so generic. But what that means is I had freedom in terms of, in my mind, that peace of mind to go, wait, instead of reaching for the Panadol, I can reach for the peppermint. And it was having an impact. It was helping with that peace of mind. It was giving me a few extra hours of sleep a night, and it was reaching for one thing that was new, and seeing how it felt, seeing how our sons reacted, seeing the changes happen ever so gently, where it became something I could trust. So when I talk about body, mind, and soul, it's like I then had a choice. Okay, what am I choosing to apply to not only their bodies but my own? What am I taking that I know is having a compounding effect, and what can I shift? It didn't happen overnight, but it happened ever so gently. And when your mind and your soul are truly free, I believe, is when you know that you're sovereign, when you're in control, when you have tried everything. And I say this a lot, like every time you reach for an oil, you're reaching back to Mother Nature, back to what, the planet is providing for us. But you're also not a failure if you try the natural route and you're not having the exact reaction, or it's not happening
Outcome.
fast enough, and you lean on something over the counter. It doesn't mean you failed. That is the
No.
beauty of the journey. The beauty of the journey is knowing you can reach for one or the other in times of need. So
And
yeah, you go.
I think that it's also part of our self-development and growth as people that we practice. And by practicing, we're learning that we can trust ourselves and the choices that we're making. And the more that we practice in these times by utilizing these different things, we then begin to empower ourselves through these choices, and our children, because they're the ones that generally are benefiting, also feel the difference in how the choices we're making and the things that we're providing to them in these times make them feel, and then they can choose what they want to do from there.
Exactly, yes. And that is the legacy. And that's one of the things I used to say to my boys, I'm putting the care back in the healthcare. So I'm actually rubbing the oils into them gently into their feet while they sleep, down their spine while they sleep. It became gentler, as
Yeah.
opposed to chaos and disorder. Yeah.
And
So
panic. Yeah.
and yeah, so winter, we've spoken about how it's, winter does that. Winter is the season that people, winter is coming, the Game of Thrones fans. Like, people are a little bit apprehensive, and what we're saying to you is, well, you have a choice. So this winter, are you willing to try and flip the script, even in a small way, to give yourself a taste of what life could look like on the other side? To start seeing how affordable natural health care really is in comparison, and yeah, to take your power back overall. So we're going to dive through quickly the top 10 essential oils. I've spelt a few spelling mistakes, so we just won't look at those. And so lemon, how do you use lemon in terms of winter, Inga?
Lemon to me is just really brightening and mood lifting, and it signals cleanliness to me. So if there's something going on in the house, whether it's mood wise or there's been sickness, that's something that I do diffuse to help just, yeah, have that sense of clearing happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the best benefits of lemon is how versatile it is. So when we talk about essential oils, doTERRA essential oils specific, we can use a certain amount of the oils or all the oils diluted topically. We can diffuse them aromatically, and we can also use them internally if you choose. So lemon is one of those oils I choose to put in a glass of water and drink down, or soda water. So yummy. Making sure that it's glass or stainless steel. But these, it's unheard of. When I was first told that, I was like, you what? Like, you can, like, won't I die? If you did that with an oil from, Kmart, you possibly would. But the idea is, it's like there is so much fear, or I don't know how, I'm not sure if I'm smart enough or I know enough. So that's the importance of having a community around you to educate you on the benefits. But lemon is just, yes, detoxification, clean, fresh, will replace all your cleaners in your home, will save you a hell of a lot of money, and eliminate those toxins from your immune system. So your immune system is not having to work in overdrive after cleaning the bathroom with a million different toxins. It's actually building your immune system as you use it. So lavender essential oils, tell us how you use lavender.
calming. So yes, diffusing, diluting, and then just popping on the pulse points. Um, yes, for bites as well. Just
Mm.
yeah, really calming, soothing
Yeah.
experience with lavender.
And in terms of sleep and cortisol levels, like we've, there's a whole nother, that's a whole nother course, literally.
Mhm.
But the idea is that, sleep is an essential part of overall health, and so many people aren't getting enough. So lavender is something that can help bring.
As well as the lavender piece and valerian stick.
Yeah.
That's every night down the spine.
Every
Yeah.
night, yeah. So lavender is like the Swiss Army knife for our family. So in winter, it's deep restorative sleep, building your immune system, as well as, it can support extra dry, irritated skin. Um, Putting it in with a carrier oil like coconut oil or jojoba oil or a butter, like a
Like
body
a,
butter.
yeah.
It's an amazing skin. It's amazing for your skin and nourishing for your skin. In terms of cost savings, so we're looking at sleep aids, all the things you're buying to, try and regain your sleep that are also filled with stuff that is totally not good for your body and going to hurt your sleep. You start to see the irony of this cycle.
Yeah.
The creams, the medicated skin balms, all of those can start to be replaced one by one by one with these essential oils. So, yeah,
So
it's
many
pretty,
uses.
so many uses. So, peppermint, all right, let's go. Tell us how you use peppermint.
Peppermint for tension, headaches, just like it's like if I feel like I'm really can't think or I'm in a fog, then I will inhale that straight out of the bottle. Great for cooling down the body. It's
Mm,
one of Zelle's favorites when she's unwell and she needs some cooling relief is peppermint. And I
mm-hmm.
love that she knows that that's what that does. And it just, really just loosens me up.
Yeah, definitely. And so the application for peppermint, so 1 drop of our peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it is powerful. So what we want to do is make sure we're diluting that before applying it to the skin. Um, as Inga said, a drop in your hand and an inhalation with your eyes closed is the fastest way to bring focus, energy back naturally. It also clears your airways like nothing else on the planet. Um, Sinus, I dilute that and I apply it along my sinus area. Um, Also, hay fever, anyone that struggles with that. We've got indigestion, so if you've got the minor tummy aches or you've eaten something that's a bit yuck, you can apply peppermint topically or put it in a peppermint, 1 drop in a cup of tea. So not even a drop, sometimes a toothpick. But what
Yes.
we're saving, yeah, what we're saving is, all the stuff we'd normally buy. And there's a while there where you may have both in the cupboard, and that is perfectly okay. Did you want to speak to that a little bit, Inga, about having both?
Yeah, I think with the overwhelm that I felt it was self-imposed that I had to get rid of everything else and then just come into this other world which I didn't probably trust yet or know
Mm,
well enough. So I wasn't there within myself in having the trust and faith.
yes.
So I think if we can have what we have been using still available, there is this safety net and familiarity that we can use this if we feel called, but let's just try the other and see what happens.
Yes, I just got goosebumps because it's a gentle approach, and that's where the reason I reached for peppermint that night is we'd run out of everything else, and like I said, I was kind of in protest, thinking there's no way this would work. But it's ironic because after a couple of months, I still had all the other stuff that we eventually replaced in the cupboard. I remember I took a photo, I think 3 months into our doTERRA journey, of all the stuff that was expiring that I was no longer using. And it was mainly because I was so shocked because they were an expense that we'd have to buy each and every week, each and every month. So yeah, it's a process of trusting hugely yourself, trusting these plant remedies, and being gentle in your approach, as opposed to, like you said, having a nervous breakdown, changing it all at once, and you know, picking a side that's so divisive. It feels so gross.
Yeah.
Um, tea tree. So, how do you use tea tree in your home?
Tea tree, so yeah, just for the cleaning, and also in the flu sort of preventative, and then
Yeah.
during rollers, yeah, for tea tree. Yeah.
Yeah, tea tree is very, very versatile. Co-impact sourced in Australia. Yay! So for us, yeah, pretty much tea tree is a smell that reminds you of my childhood, because you were always, mum always had it um, diffusing or burning in the oils burner, the good old oils
Oh,
burner.
yes.
Yeah, it blemishes like so how this plays into winter is really interesting, but you've got girls as well, but I've got boys, and they've also got blemishes and skin issues and things. And you think, what's that got to do with winter? Well, it actually has everything to do with winter, because if they're applying rubbish products to their skin, their immune system is working 10 times harder,
Hmm.
uh, and their gut is working 10 times harder to absorb all of those toxins and work hard to not allow those toxins in to affect their physical health. So it's like adding stress. So what I say to my boys, and I'm like a broken record, but the less we can put on your body that your body has to fight against, the better we're going to have, the better overall health, you know. And so that's how using tea tree for natural face whites, or for your cuts and your scrapes, or if you have, like, you know, people have a fungal infection in their toenails from the gym. I know a few people have had those lately in my house, but it's incredible. Most people are familiar with this oil, but I think it's underestimated just how powerful it is.
Mm.
And when you look at, you know, popping a drop in a spray bottle as and replacing those expensive, you know, hand sanitizers and things like that, you can save so much money. Save so much
Mhm.
money. Okay, balance. Tell us why you love balance.
I
You love
think my husband loves balance more than anything for me, because yeah, it does what it says, it just brings us back into balance. Um, Grounding, calming, just yeah, popping it on the pulse points,
mm.
using it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how
it's
does it feel to see him leaning on this oil, these oils, as much as he does?
I think it's yeah, it's something you sort of can't uh, quantify. It's just, oh, yes, there is a recognition that it works, that it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
No.
And that's the masculine side, you know, the energy. We have so many men, my husband included, that, you know, that gently, ever so gently, fall in love with these oils through us. And that's a part of the trust as well. So I remember
Mhm.
early on saying to Clint, you know, just try the peppermint, just watch it, just get the thermometer and just watch, just sit and watch with me. It was like a re-education. It was like saying, like, I'm actually as shocked as you, so let's just sit in this and whatever this is, and learn to trust this together. So when you, yeah, balance is everywhere. It's everywhere in our house. And for our
Yeah.
son, um, the the video, I think very early on, I shared a video on the blood cells. Someone was put some blood cells of someone that was in stress under a
Yeah.
microscope, and before and after applying balance. And I could not believe my eyes when you saw the blood cells go from in stress, coagulated, all stuck together, and then in harmony. I was like, this is next level. So the way we use it is pop a drop in our hands when we're either proactively going into stressful situations, saying I am calm, I'm grounded, I'm in control, diffusing it to control the mood of an environment as
Mhm.
well proactively. So what we're doing is trying to bring those cortisol levels back down to homeostasis, just so we can have some peace and some tranquility, because again, how we feel has a direct correlation to how we are health wise.
Well,
So
that's actually a great point, because that's not something I have thought of, as in be proactive if you know you're going to be going
Yeah.
into something, then utilizing it before, not just after.
Well, yeah, and that, but emotions wise, you know, and that's another whole rant that I go on, but I'm like, we react to smells every day.
Yeah.
You walk past dog poo and you react to it. You
Yeah.
smell someone's perfume and you react to it because it reminds you of someone. So why not use these as a proactive way to support ourselves as we're
Mm,
entering stressful situations? It's
mm.
like our armor. So
Yeah.
it's really important. Zen Jest. Ooh, this was my second transformation for my family was this oil. So how do you use this oil in your winter wellness, Inga?
Well, yeah, it's always in our house. So Zengest for the digestion of emotional stuff as well as the physical stuff. So yeah, if we're going through anything more, we might not even be conscious of it, and we've got some stomach discomfort, then yeah, I'm diluting that and popping it on our bellies.
Mm.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and I think so for us, it was the very next product over the counter that we were consuming quite a lot was to do with our acid levels in our stomach, and we're having things like reflux, symptoms of reflux popping up, and all that physical discomfort, which was a sign of a lot going on underneath.
Mm,
Um, and Zengest for us, or it used to be called Digest,
digestion.
was an incredible eye opener in how we could proactively, we had to use this proactively. It became a tool that we'd reach for on the daily because we had underlying issues diet wise that we weren't addressing, and the signs and the symptoms of that were the discomfort we were feeling. So in winter, our diets change, so we can often reach for those heavier breads or this or that or soups or for even just eating more in general. So when you're experiencing tummy troubles, diluting that and applying it topically over the tummy is incredible. You can also pop a drop in water and drink it down for that instant soothing of your tummy. So to give you an example, like, you know, we're 10 plus years into this journey and we do choose to use some of these oils internally, others may not. So diluting it and applying it topically will suffice. Like, it's an amazing way to apply. But when we're talking about like our 8-year-old son who has been from utero brought up with this kind of medicine in his life, he will eat something that he knows is bad for him. So he'll overdo it with dairy or he'll overdo it with sugar when we're out and about or something. And straight away he knows to go to use this to help soothe. But lately it's shifted to, thank goodness, he's not actually doing the thing that makes him feel sick. So there's growth there.
So good.
Not
Yeah.
overeating, like, you know, so it's a journey, right? But when he was, sorry, really experiencing that discomfort, and he's like, Mom, I need my Zengest, I need my tummy oil. He has one next to his bed, so he'll often put it around, roll it on himself. But this particular day, he wanted more. You could tell he needed more relief. So I said to him, Darren, I usually pop a drop in water and I'll drink it down. How do you feel about that? Because he was actually blocked up, like backed up the other end. And yeah, so I made him a little shot. He drank it down, and within half an hour, he'd gone and done his business, and off he went. So
Oh, wow.
I was interested. I was intrigued at, okay, I would normally go and get X, Y, and Z out of the medication cabinet. Well, my arm just disappeared in the video, uh, and and then that would be it, right? And I would never normally, in the past, have looked at the side effects of that or looked at the ingredients and what I was giving him, but to know that we were able to up the different way of applying this oil and the relief that he felt nearly instantly was incredible. But these are tools that are just part of his life. They're just
Yeah.
part of their toolkit. So again, not relying on the heavy stuff so your body's not having to fight. Eucalyptus, tell us about your adventures with this amazing oil.
So yes, eucalyptus has been profound in our seasonal journeying with respiratory stuff, specifically croup. We spend 1 year, we spent, I don't know, most of winter continuously up at emergency getting steroids before I became aware that this was something I could access. And then I slowly started introducing it, as well as having the other still in the fridge. And yeah, that's just what we use now, or she hasn't had it for a year or two. But yeah, when it was showing up, that's a shower, the steam. Yeah. And it's beautiful to know, because if this croup can really just show up out of the blue a lot of the time and induce a lot of panic in the children. So it's great for them to know that there's something in the house that they don't have to leave the house to go and get, and just be more equipped and feel safer in that.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Because it does that, the whole not being able to breathe thing creates panic, and Ned isn't a preemie baby, so he's had respiratory issues his whole life. But having this has been an absolute godsend because of that peace of mind it brings, and knowing that we can reach for this proactively as well. We know the season's coming. Like, I used to laugh at myself a bit and be like, why was I so shocked every winter when winter came and we got sick again? Like, it comes every year.
Yes.
Why is this so shocking? Like, did I love the fact that I could be a victim and tell everyone how sick I was? Yeah, actually, I think that was a huge part of it. I think at that point in my journey, I was like glorifying the busy and the sick, and I was running a preschool, and me too. And I actually like connected with people through how sick my children were, which is so weird. But sometimes that's what mums do, right?
Yeah.
But when
I think you're so in it. You're so in it as well, and you don't know different.
Yeah, it's just the way we bond. It's like I see your pain and you see my pain, and now we're best friends. That's great. But the reality is, it's like when the other way, when that door opened, and like I said, it started with the hot body and the temperature, and it went to tummy, and then I was like, well, hang on, what about respiratory? That was probably the biggest one for me in terms of fear. Around, are we going to muck around with this airway situation or what? Like,
even so much so that I thought she was getting it recently, and I'd run out of eucalyptus, and so there's fear around that as well. And I messaged a girlfriend and said, "Do you have any?" And she dropped some over. She didn't end up getting the croup, but I had that safety within that. Yeah.
And that's the flow-on effect. So I think it's a big one, but like you said and you pointed out, it's that feeling of safety, that knowing it's there, and it's a tool of any time of night when that the C word, the croup word, just dives in and like, surprise, you're not sleeping for 4 nights, like that's a lot for a family to be caught off guard. So having these tools is the greatest peace of mind. So this is where, and this is why this is the very next oil, but Easy Air is obviously that amplified version of respiratory support, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, my husband loves this one as well. Whenever he's unwell, he's bring me this one. He knows it works. And so yeah, it's diffused. It's also diluted and rubbed across the chest. It's a staple as well.
Yeah, and an incredible like decongestant. I find this. So when you've got those coughs that are just persistent,
they're not breaking.
They're not breaking, and so diluting it and applying it to the chest. But the best part about our journey as the boys have gotten older is they're playing an active role in that as well. So they're helping make the blends, they're rubbing it on their chest, they're aware of the process, and they're playing a part in their own healing. So Easy Air, it's around, like it's a winter staple, but it's also around all year because, as I said, Ned can be too much dairy can trigger his wheezing. So it's always around for us. But if I was going to say there's a smell that's anchored to winter, it's this blend because it's always diffused. In my school it was always diffused. So it's funny how this smell is also cozy to me. This is it's a going within. I love that there's the aromatic an emotional anchor as well. But if you're looking for deeper respiratory support, this obviously has eucalyptus in it. It's a blend of the most powerful essential oils to support our airways naturally. On Guard, winter in a bottle. How does your family use the protective blend?
Well, On Guard's got its whole range itself. It's that powerful. So yeah, we've got the hand sanitizer. That's the On Guard hand sanitizer for when we're out and about. I work in a kindy, so that's something that I'm using as well. It's diffusing. Yeah, it's a diluted soles of the feet. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
everywhere.
it's everywhere. Again,
Everywhere.
it's always here. It's always here.
But yeah, you're right. And I think so. There's we know winter's coming, right? We know the cycle of sickness usually amplifies during this season and the change in the season. So where it came, our rhythm with this was before you put on your socks in the morning, put this on your heels. So it was just every morning on the heels, every evening on the heels. It was diffused in the preschool environment as an airborne way to purify the air, but also those particles were landing around the room. So if there were any issues around the room or any surfaces I hadn't quite got to, it was helping there as well. With young ones, cleaning your toys and cleaning your surroundings with On Guard and lemon, and allowing your children to help you because they're completely safe is incredible, but they're also putting them in their mouth as well. So a lot of the toys and a lot of the teething rings and all of that can be cleaned with something natural and a lot safer for their immune system. Gargles, so a throat gargle, if you have a sore throat or a tickly throat coming on, a drop of this in warm water with a little bit of salt is incredible, like to help. You can make it as a spray as well, a drop in the hand sanitizer, like it's endless, but I think this hands down would be if you need any oil to support and transform your immune response, On Guard would be on the front line.
Yeah.
of that war for sure. So we absolutely love it, and it is incredibly versatile. But we found that when we started using this in a proactive sense, in our environment, on our bodies, and in the air we were breathing, those fewer sick days and the fewer doctor visits and everything started to actually go, oh, all right, I can breathe again now. I can get through a week and save a couple of $100 not visiting the doctor every 3 seconds or not needing the pharmacy as often.
Yeah.
It's saving so much over a lifetime. So in a bottle that's 5 ml, there's about 90 applications. In a bottle that's 15 ml, there's about 220 to 30 applications. So cost and value for money is next level in these oils. Frankincense. So how do you use the king of oils?
I think it's my daily oil. It's just what I wear as my perfume, pure fume. It's grounding, it's just aligning, it's centering. It's just the king of oils. Powerful. Yeah.
And has been for so long.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I think the cellular functions and the cellular health that this creates, as a daily ritual, like I do it as a ritual as well. In the morning when I'm getting ready, I do a drop on the roof of my mouth for total body wellness. I know it's powerful. I know that there's a lot of things we cannot say compliance-wise about frankincense, but if ever you wanted to feel like you were protected and your cells were working with you, frankincense is the oil that you want to get on you.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. It's like armor.
Yeah, it's working with you.
Yeah.
And how that peace of mind affects obviously our immune response and our overall health and well-being, it goes without saying. But if you're looking at, and if you do spend a lot of money on really, really well-marketed skincare products, you might start, and this is what happened with me, after you get on top of the really, in your face problems like your children's sickness and breaking the sick cycle and stop your dependency on so many things that are bad for you, you might start to look in your beauty cabinet and you might start to go, well, wow, I'm making all these great changes over here, but then when I open here, it's counterproductive to everything I'm trying. So that's where if you want, you know, world-class, top-notch skincare, this is your guy. You know, it's really not it's the most powerful application for skin and for healing your blemishes and things like that that I've ever experienced as well. So yeah, so you can save a lot of money using the oils for health, but also using them on skin and for replacing other things. That was a rundown of the 10 oils. Yay, go us. I don't know how long we were there. So changing your family story, we've touched on that throughout everything that we've said, but you know, we really do have the power to change our own story in our own way. So if you had an invitation to people that are watching this back, Inga, that are in your world that have been on the fence or been quite skeptical, but part of them is saying just try, what's your advice to them?
Go gently. Don't have to do it all at once. Follow your intuition and let that guide you, and that there is so many people in this community that it's so beautiful that someone can be experiencing something and then someone's there to provide them oils if they don't have them, you know. It's just so it's another next level safety net that you can connect with across the world, and it's really supportive, and it's helping empower you, but also your children.
Yes, I love that. And when I think of doTERRA and I think of what it has brought into my life by the way of peace and happiness and safety, acceptance, you know, for my imperfections, and I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm on a journey of when I know better, I'll do better. But when I think of how it looks to be a mum or a dad or a parent or a person that's allowing plant medicine in, I picture thousands and thousands of homes, but the ones with doTERRA have a light on. You know, if it was nighttime and what I mean by that is it doesn't matter what time of day, even if my child loses an arm, I'm still going to be using balance to help them during that as I take them to the emergency room. So that's the balance we're talking about. Touch wood that will not happen. That was an extreme example. But my point is there is room for both and they are both essential. So fewer days off work, maintaining income and learning continuity. I never get that right. These are the benefits of having plant remedies around you. Less need to go to the GP as often, to fill prescriptions as often as you are. Having them at your fingertips. Better mental health, good sleep, less stress, and empowering your daily habits. So you begin to broaden your horizons and look at other things you could change to save money, to stop buying them. More energy, because you go from surviving to thriving when you have your power. And yeah, looking at a single home essentials kit or family essentials kit literally is the cost of 2 doctor's visits these days. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane, but the amount of long-term cost savings you'll get. So one of my favorite quotes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you wanted to just take everyone through what they get, with the example of a family essentials kit, which is all the oils we've just discussed in a 5 ml size.
So yeah, you'll get immediate access to natural solutions, equip your home with the most powerful, versatile oils to proactively support immunity, emotional well-being, digestion, respiratory health, sleep, skincare, and more, all at your fingertips. Huge cost savings, avoiding hundreds, even thousands of dollars in doctor's visits, pharmacy bills, over-the-counter medications, cleaning products, and lost income from sick days, as well as nervous system burnout. Free doTERRA membership included, so that's 12 months wholesale membership for free, giving you 25% off your future purchases for the year. There's no monthly minimum or selling required. Free postage, and yeah, this month when you grab your family essentials kit, your shipping is completely free, saving you even more.
Yeah.
Creating safer, stronger homes,
Yeah.
mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah, and swapping out the toxic products and reducing chemical load and boosting your family's immune systems.
Yeah, exactly. Great coverage. Well, that's the benefit of the Family Essentials kit. The This kit was the kit that I began with all those years ago, and yeah, I do say that having these oils literally was the catalyst for so much change in our lives, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So every home deserves that peace of mind and living empowered for you, but for the next generation as well. And that's what we're at the outset. We want you to feel that level of empowerment day and night in your own home, but also your children are watching. They're seeing what you're reaching for. They're seeing how you respond under stress. They're seeing, seeing your integrity play out in the middle of the night. Are you leaning on natural and then needing to make a decision to lean on something heavier? And that's okay too. Are you being kind to yourself?
They're feeling what we feel, yeah.
Exactly. So it's the unspoken, but the bottles should represent, and that's why we always say start within your umbrella, start within your needs and your niche and your financial capacity, but start somewhere because the children are watching. So our challenge or our invitation to you is this winter, we choose empowerment, not fear. And we choose natural strength, vibrant health, and family joy. And we can change our story starting today. So I made that decision, over 10 years ago. Inga, you as well. I'm pretty sure you were a decade. So if you have any questions about today's call, any questions about any particular oils, please send Inga or myself a DM, and we will do our best to provide you with, the most down-to-earth, digestible information without any strings attached, so you can actually begin your journey with, plant medicine yourself. So how do you think we did? Covered it all?
No.
I hope so. But yeah, so if you have any questions, please reach out to either of us on Instagram, Facebook, or direct message. And yeah, we look forward to helping you create a better home for yourself and your children. So thank you, Inga, for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.